Bless love and greetings to all the I them. It is I, Ricki with an I, and this is another episode of The Couch. Now, as you know, today is a bit slightly different from all the other episodes because I'm talking with my mask and it's slipping off of my mouth. But this is one of the problems that we actually face with wearing these masks, as you can see, and I will demonstrate some other stuff. See, I'm going to put it back up because we have to be safe with the whole COVID-19 thing. But anyway, today, tonight, this afternoon, this evening, this morning, whenever you're looking at this, we have one of the most entertaining people in the Virgin Islands. Yes, and my mask still slipping off. And he's actually somebody I look up to because of his determination, perseverance, and ambition. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we'll be chit-chatting with Masa Pasa. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with my mask falling off of my face. Yeah.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Yes, people, and we are back. And this interview is going to be very, very, very interesting. It's going to be fun. We're going to explore lots and lots of stuff like masks falling off of faces. And we're also going to be talking to the man, Masa. So, yeah, Masa, what going on?
Well, I ain't got a problem with you. This mask thing in the car.
No, that mask here look like it legit. That one there look like he got no kind of problem at all.
I get a sleeves guard. I get a whole protection from you to me or from me to you. The whole thing, and it's padded.
Nice.
You can put in your own pad, Cortex, them different other things.
Easy. Well, I wouldn't try putting on a pad in mine and thing. Eh? Check it out. But I just wanted to know how I could get this here to stay on my face. That's all I want to know. Because what happened is like I had more here on my face, but I try to do a little shave up thing, and since I do the shave up thing, like when I put on a mask and I talk too much in the mask, it'll just start to slip off. So anyway, let's get into the interview. Masa, tell us a bit about yourself for the people that don't know.
Well, I can't say much about myself. People could only look at me what I show them. I mean, what I value the most is about myself is being a great father and a husband to my family. And you know, I can't more or less emphasize on my accomplishments so far because I don't feel that I have reached a place in my life where I have accomplished, you know, above the bar, as persons would say. But I've done quite a few.
Okay. So the Masa that I know, I should say, the Masa that I knew back in the day, that Masa was a bit more fun. People would say you were a bit of a loose cannon. What were you trying to accomplish? People look, right? This thing keeps slipping off of my face.
In my mind, I mean, I know we got the rules going on right now, but the mask thing right now ain't
the mask thing ain't working out for me right now because it just keeps slipping off of my face.
The mask thing ain't working for this setting.
We are socially distanced.
Yeah, we 6 foot. We got a 6 foot going on.
Yeah, so.
Cause when I talk, I like this.
I fully understand. So, yeah, what were you trying to accomplish back then with all the different wild antics? You were really a loose cannon on Facebook.
I wasn't disciplined and I wasn't mature to the point where I am now. I had, let's start from Tola vibes straight into Crazy, where I had involvement with a website, an entertainment website, not news, just got cleared up. It had what we used to do. We used to highlight events around the British Virgin Islands and more or less go and cover them for free. Just we were more or less looking overseas and who was the entertainment capital at that time, and you know the nightlife had revolved around Trinidad.
True.
And we wanted to compete in that arena.
Whoa.
So what we started to do, we started to go each and every event and start, you know, snapping pictures and taking, you know, covering the events and so forth, and then, you know, getting people a feel of what the British Virgin Islands is like. So that was merely our intentions. But at the time, I wasn't taking any guidance at all.
At all.
At all. I have the character, the persona, and persons would look at it as a loose cannon, yes. And I could admit that now where I am now and looking back, I didn't have any discipline in terms of being in the media, per se. And it was misleading to persons who would have said, well, I respect him, I admire him, or I want to be like that. Because I did not realize then the impact I had on one or two few who say, listen, I want to walk that very path. Now, I have a son and another son on the way. And for me, I wouldn't want to see my offspring walking that same direction I had in terms of internet trolling and, you know, just being all out reckless, if you understand what I mean.
What really contributed to that behavior back then?
Genetics, I guess. It was. I can't say. I can't pinpoint the main contributor, other than that is who I was, and this is who I am now.
That's interesting, because one thing that I know is that you also used to be in athletics.
Yeah.
From what I recall. So why didn't you decide to push yourself more towards that whole athletic track and field thing instead of going along the path of being an internet troll?
It was a weird transition, actually, because I think I want to pinpoint some numbers. Like in 2007, I went away to represent the British Virgin Islands in the Commonwealth Youth Games in Pune, India.
Wait. You actually went away, like you travel and...
I was selected.
So you were that bad?
I was okay. I mean,
go into detail on that.
I would, because the kids know. You know, right now this is their time and they're rockets. You know, they're more or less moving rockets, but back then, I was classed as the rocket back then.
Stop playing. So okay. So I gotta ask you a question now. You could have been Mulagwa?
We like I say, the time's different. So I'll tell you now, my time back then isn't as quickly as the guys' time now, the kids' time now. Mulagwap and I were in different times. But I'll honestly say, and I tell him this all the time, he was my favorite athlete at the time. Okay. Athlete overall. His farm and the mere fact that he more or less 3 foot. 3 foot in height.
Or 2'5".
You know, and for me, looking across from the track and seeing, you know, height doesn't matter in the sport. And seeing that I was short at the time had given me so much hope. So I had actually admired his running style and just drove me to push more, because his name wasn't Mullah then. His name was Bullet.
Oh?
His name was Bullet. Pew, pew, pew. And they always had that joke that his training format was him running behind a car tied to a vehicle on the highway. That was his training. But that was our rumors.
Really?
Yeah. Because his dad was his coach, fortunately. His dad was my coach, fortunately.
Okay. So what would happen if, let's say, you, Mullah, myself, decided to go for a 100-meter race?
In today's time?
Of course, yes.
In today's time, I'll tell you plain, I'll give it to you, because the hip ain't walking.
Oh yeah?
The hip ain't walking like it used to my boy. Right now, this is them little boy, them young boy time. And Ricki, if you want to turn behind a 100-meter pad now, I ain't stopping you, but I ain't taking pad that. I know my limit.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't do it either. So please, if you are watching this, don't try hype it up. Ricki can't run. Ricki all bad. Mula, if you and Masa want back it out, yeah, come back it out. But we can't do it. No, sir.
No,
No,
but
sir.
just to elaborate on it,
Uh-huh.
I mean, if all of us were in our peak of our athletics, and myself, Mula, and yourself, and we line them up at the peak at our athletics, I think I ain't shooting myself short.
Yeah.
I mean, I would try to win.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would honestly say he have a track record of running leave the pack.
Oh.
His times was damn much unstable. He have a track record of running leave the pack. Not just winning race, but running leave the pack. That's what I can say about him.
Okay. Well, let's try to go and leave the pack a bit, and we're gonna go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with more with Masa, and we have some interesting topics to cover. So we'll be back just now.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny Boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny Boy. Hold on. You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Yes. Yes, Massive and Crew, we're back. This is I, Ricki with an I, and we're here chopping it up with the man Masa Pasa. And let's get into something a bit more personal. Masa, you were incarcerated for a number of years. Did someone set you up? How did that come about, really?
In a sense, I don't think it's a more or less per se. I can't pinpoint and say it's a setup. But what I can tell you is when you're not educated about the law, anybody could get entangled in the law. So it was just a matter of wrong place, wrong time. If you want me to go in fine-line details and talk about the case, I mean, it's already out there, I already get a conviction. But what actually happened was I came in contact with a firearm. And I was more or less penalized for not reporting it, opposed to it actually being my firearm.
Okay.
So we all know a firearm, possession of a firearm is more or less a serious crime in the British Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
But my mindset at the time was, in the time of my incarceration was, the battle of having my kids come up there to visit me and leaving because I don't even have the lesson to say, well, Daddy had done something so terrible that he had to be penalized for it. So that was, for me, that was the lowest point of my life. And, I had time to think and, why me?
Yeah.
Is it because of, my involvement in the media and my recklessness? So I had a lot of speculations, but I can't pinpoint that this is actually a setup.
Yeah.
There is speculation in my mind, but I can't pinpoint to say, well, all right, somebody actually placed it there at the time for me to come in contact with it. And then, it would have turned into a longevity, something where it would have cost me my whole future, my moving forward in life and so forth.
Okay. Now, you touched on having your kids having to come up to jail and see you and what's not up there in that condition. Outside of that, what was the most difficult thing that you had to witness happen? What was the most difficult thing for you to witness while you were in jail? What happened inside there? Like some of the stuff that on the outside, we would be like, Yeah, we think this and this going on in there. There's gang fighting. There is man liking man and that stuff. Is jail actually like that?
Jail is not what people may think it is. Because you would think, all right, jail is just this big place you put people for punishment. But it's actually a rehabilitation center. If you want to look at it, I know it sounds weird, but it's just saying that you can't get out long well with others in the general population. So what we're going to do, we're going to segregate you for this time and take away your civil rights. You know, your right to vote and your right to roam and your right to, you know, free will. And we're going to hold you there until, you know, a certain time that was warranted by the courts. And then that would hope to bring you back to civilization. That when you're now released back into the public, that you could be a well-rounded, law-abiding citizen, and then, you know, you move forward. But anything out the way, I just have to touch base on armor times, and a little bit before. Because when you're up there through many persons, tensions get high for personal reasons. And, you know, persons going to question why they're there, even if they're wrong, because everybody innocent until proven guilty. Or
That's
guilty.
what I said.
Yeah. So you will have persons going through their withdrawals. And they're going to channel it at you. Whether they're lifers or short-timers, you would have persons coming at you because they need to relieve that sort of stress. So times you would have persons get violent, but for me it wasn't like that because I know to get along with everyone, you know. So if you up there for a sort of crime or whatever, you'll find yourself not fitting in with certain people. But for myself, on arrival, I was more or less confused at the whole deal because I was like, what? That's when reality hit you like, what? Like, what? Jail? You catch? And then, I mean, again, to little squabbles here and there. And at the time, how the facility was running, something had happened to me up there where I had more or less get stabbed.
You got stabbed in jail?
I get stabbed in jail, and like I said...
Like shank? Like how we don't hear about, like, on the as and those things? Like, you actually get...
Yeah, like a poke, like a poke.
What? So.
And for me, I wouldn't blame the person that did it on myself, you know. But it's how the jail had actually dealt with it afterwards was the biggest hiccup, because they more or less tried to hide it.
What are you saying? So you mean to tell me something happened in jail where you were stabbed, assaulted, but because you're in jail now,
there's a lot of things, because you won't ever, and I'm speaking this into your life, you won't ever see behind bars that you will never know, and the general public will never know, because they have a constitution called the human rights. And for them now, people might say, all right, they don't need to treat them like animals. But if you treat them like animals and you take away the human rights, the jail can't facilitate them. You have to release them back into the public. That's the dangerous part. They're still protected by the human rights. And if you, like I say, I sat in a cell for more or less 3 to 4 hours bleeding.
But you laughing? That's a serious thing. But you laughing?
It's serious, but in eyes, they were more or less taking their precautions, because on site they didn't have any nurse. They didn't have any medical attention for persons there. Wow. So I had a rough one. And like I say, looking back as my kids get older, they're gonna remember why, you know, when Daddy went to jail, and I have not scripted the words to tell them, well, listen, this is what's gonna happen if you break the law. And in my mind, I don't know where I went wrong where breaking the law is concerned.
Yeah.
But I was more or less not educated about the law. And at the time, because I had called the police and said, this is my findings, I would have never gotten into the situation I've gotten into.
True.
And I just reported it. But in my mind, I'm saying to this, what if I had called the police at that time and how congested the community is? I would have had to now lead the police now to the findings and risk people seeing me.
Yeah.
And then now you would have persons going and like, okay, so you make my thing get take up.
Yeah.
So I had all kind of things in my mind, and at the end of the day, I made a wrong choice not to say.
Okay.
So, and that's the penalty you get for not saying.
You also touched on Irma. Were you up there during the passing of Irma?
Yeah, I was up there during the hurricanes, yes.
So you were up there during the hurricanes, right? And there is a whole big mystery surrounding a situation that happened up there during the hurricanes with how the prisoners got out. How did the prisoners get out?
It's a hard story to tell, because now, me being a prisoner, you will always have the rumor that prisoner going back up for prisoner.
Yeah.
And authority going back up for authority. From my end, the gates were locked. And there's no prisoner capable enough to crack in, pick in the lock there. Because there's a series of gates you must take to get out. Even from the general population, I noticed that described where prisoners were getting out. But to get to that area, you must be let out with a key. With a key. Because it was more or less the front side. They say armor had damaged the front side. But the front side is only a handful could have gotten out.
True.
You understand? So the instructions were this.
So there were instructions.
The instructions were this. Take what you... Check on your family, because I see where admin had to... The back were more against the wall. Because you have a staff of... I can just call some figures, it might not be correct. But you have a staff of about 20 persons versus 150 grown men. All saying, I want to know how my family is doing.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, at the point in time, I could see where he's, it was like, listen, I can't even get 911 on the phone. So if a riot back up.
Masa, you know what we're going to do? We're going to leave that story right there. We're going to pick it up somewhere else, but we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to be back with more on the couch, all right? So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with more with Masa.
In the final analysis, we have two options. Stay inside and create memories that will last forever, or go outside and say goodbye to those memories. We're not stuck inside, we're safer inside. The time is now to unite, embrace, and love each other from a distance. Show the world and the people in it just how much they mean to you by keeping your distance. It may be difficult, but necessary. Let's reintroduce humanity and heart to all homes. While we can't enjoy the sun, sand, and sea, let's take this time to remember why we are nature's little secrets. Stay inside, and when it's over, we would all be better, stronger, and we would all still be together. With self-discipline and patience, we can overcome. We are, have been, and will always be VI Strong. A message from your team at 284 Media.
Wow. So before the commercial break, we started getting into something that was quite juicy. We're going to leave it right there.
Yeah,
we're going to leave it right there. All right? So what we're going to get into now is, Masa, how has your life changed since being released?
For the better.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, definitely for the better.
So,
I mean, the experience of the whole incarceration have now made me the person I am, and I realize now that I had to direct my focus on where it matters. Yeah. And me being a poor parent at the time, I wasn't 100% involved.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have never expected that because in following you on social media, I always see you more or less posting with your kids even before the whole incarceration.
I was there,
yeah,
but I wasn't a super dad. And that's what every child needs right now. I mean, if I could speak into the life of a father that's not, he knows he's not doing enough. I mean, I wasn't a super dad.
Yeah.
Because I used to take time away from the home and then allocate time, and like I try to balance the two. But now I just give him my all into, you know, building
taking care of the kids, you know, a married man.
Yes, sir.
You're chefing it up with some of the most creative dishes I have seen on the Tartola food board. It's like what you did with Vienna sausage is like he made Vienna sausage look gourmet. I was like, oh, I mean, that was amazing. And then you also do some other stuff that people don't know about. Like, for example, team, can we bring up the shoes? Let's bring up a picture of the shoes. Tell me about these shoes.
So what happened inside of the prison now? What happened now? I more or less didn't have anything to do because there wasn't the programs up there to actually rehabilitate the minds of a criminal just wasn't there, and I had to just find something to do, more or less. So more or less shoe painting and shoe restoration was a thing that I come up with.
Nice.
I put it towards the administration, and they had allowed me to bring in certain things.
Nice.
To, you know,
nice.
More things than that. I mean, I made, y'all gonna laugh, but I made the best of jail. I made the best of jail because now, not only shoe painting I got myself involved with, but I myself used to through tournaments, basketball tournaments in Liza, rehabilitating. Listen, I had killers playing with killers that couldn't see eye to eye. And it's more about respect and then getting their minds into something more focused and, you know, enhancing their craft. I used to get people out on the court.
That's super interesting.
We had prizes and we had this and we had the whole shebang, and we had actually make it into a thing where wing would compete against wing, and then you would have a whole trade.
So wing and thigh never used to compete at all?
Wing and sorry?
Wing and thigh. You said wing versus wing. I mean, what about wing and thigh, wing and drumstick and those kind of competitions?
In terms of chicken, nah, Rasta don't eat chicken. But anyhow, okay. But anyhow, I mean, I wouldn't take all credit for those things because I actually had elders, what we would call it, and people who I do respect in the prison that actually made me who I am. Because I mean, if it wasn't for the mentorship from the older heads, and I talking about, I could call some names right now, but I don't know if they can feel comfortable with me talking about, you know. But I had older heads actually, and people look at them as the most dangerous people that ever come across the Virgin Islands, and they are the reason why I am today.
So we actually gotta cut it off a bit short because we're kind of running out of time. But did the series, The Way the Cookie Crumbles, did it start as an idea while you were incarcerated, or is it something that came up since you came out?
School days, I was.
School days?
From school days,
wow.
I was into drama, but I never got into the class.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was more or less situations that happened between myself, family members that I didn't really like what was going on. So it's actually based off of many true stories and many true happenings that just is conversations that's there, but it just not talked about. So we just decided to, you know, boring time. It actually, it wasn't supposed to be a thing. It was during lockdown, and we were just like, listen, we're going to just make a video, and then since we were like, we're part 2, and me and Dav were like, part 2.
Yes.
Like,
I was one of those people that really wanted to see part 2. But, Masa, we might have to have a part 2 for this. So, what I'm going to do, thank you for coming out. I would just like you to leave the people with a short message, and that's more or less it with Masa on the couch.
All right, this is your boy Masa Pasa holding it down for Couch 284 Media CCT, and if I could reach the live of anybody, if you know you're not being the best you right now, shoot for being the best you, because there's nobody could tell you what to do other than you. I mean, especially for the fathers. If you're not being the best dad you can be right now, the best boyfriend, the best husband, be that best person that you could be right now and enjoy your life, serve God, and that's it.
Yes, sir. So people, you just had it. This is Masa Pasa. My name is Ricki with an I. You just watched an episode of The Coach, and we'll be back next week with even more entertainment, more fun, right here on 284 Media on The Coach. Bless up. Yes, sir.